Kofi, a wealthy merchant, vanished without a trace. His loyal servant, Adewale, was determined to find him. As Adewale delved deeper, he uncovered secrets that hinted at a hidden life. The truth about Kofi's disappearance would change everything. In the bustling market of Lagos, Kofi was a well-known and wealthy merchant. His shop was filled with exotic goods, and people from all over came to trade with him. Kofi was respected and admired, but he was also a man of mystery. He kept his past hidden and rarely spoke about his personal life. Adewale, Kofi's loyal servant, had worked for him for many years. He admired Kofi and was grateful for the opportunities he had provided. One morning, Adewale arrived at the shop to find it locked and Kofi missing. No one had seen him, and his disappearance was a complete mystery. Worried and confused, Adewale searched the mansion for clues. He found nothing out of place, but felt there was more to Kofi's disappearance than met the eye. Determined to find his master, Adewale decided to investigate further. He knew that finding Kofi would not be easy and that he would need help. Nia, a rival merchant, had always seemed to have a connection with Kofi. Although they were competitors, there was an unspoken bond between them. Adewale decided to seek her help, hoping she might have some information that could lead him to Kofi. Adewale approached Nia's shop with a mix of hope and hesitation. He knew that asking for her help was risky, but he had no other choice. Nia was surprised to see him and even more surprised to hear about Kofi's disappearance. "Kofi is missing?" Nia asked, her eyes wide with concern. "I had no idea. He never mentioned anything to me." Adewale nodded. "Yes, he's gone. I've helped search everywhere and found nothing. I need your help, Nia. You knew him better than most. Do you have any idea where he could be or what might have happened to him?" Nia paused, considering Adewale's request. She knew Kofi had secrets, but she had never pried into his personal affairs. Still, she felt a sense of duty to help. "All right, Adewale, I'll help you. Let's start by searching his mansion again. Maybe we missed something." Together, Adewale and Nia returned to Kofi's mansion. They carefully examined every room, looking for any clues that could lead them to Kofi. In Kofi's study, Adewale noticed a loose floorboard. With some effort, he pried it open, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside, they found a collection of old letters and a small ornate box. Nia opened the box, revealing a series of cryptic messages and symbols. "This looks like codes," she said, puzzled. "Do you know what they mean?" Adewale shook his head. "No, but they must be important. Kofi wouldn't hide them if they weren't. We need to figure out what these messages are trying to tell us." As they worked together to decipher the codes, they began to uncover a web of deceit and hidden enemies. The messages hinted at a secret dealings and dangerous alliances that Kofi had kept hidden. The more they discovered, the more they realized how little they truly knew about Kofi's life. Their investigation led them to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Adewale and Nia approached cautiously, aware that they were venturing into dangerous territory. Inside, they found evidence of Kofi's secret dealings, including records of transactions and correspondences with shady figures. "This is bigger than I thought," Adewale said, his voice filled with worry. "Kofi was involved in something dangerous. We need to be careful." Nia nodded in agreement. "We have to find him before it's too late. But we can't do this alone. We need allies." Adewale and Nia decided to enlist the help of trusted friends and informants from the market. They knew that time was running out and that Kofi's life might be in grave danger. As they continued their search, they remained vigilant, knowing that Kofi's enemies were likely watching their every move. The more they uncovered, the closer they got to the truth. But with each step, the danger grew, and they knew that the final confrontation was inevitable. Adewale and Nia gathered their trusted friends from the market. They included Duro, a strong blacksmith, Amina, a quick-witted trader, and Jide, a resourceful fisherman. Each of them had their own reasons for wanting to help find Kofi. Together, they formed a small team dedicated to uncovering the truth. They returned to Kofi's mansion, determined to decipher the remaining codes and uncover any hidden secrets. As they pored over the cryptic messages, Amina noticed a pattern. "Look here," she said, pointing to a series of symbols. "These symbols match the ones we saw in the warehouse. They might be locations or names." Adewale nodded. "Good catch, Amina. Let's map out these symbols and see if they lead us anywhere." Using a map of the city, they plotted the symbols and discovered a series of locations that seemed connected. The locations formed a rough circle around the city, with Kofi's mansion at the center. It was clear that these places were significant. The first location they visited was an old abandoned market stall. Inside, they found more letters and documents hidden under a loose tile. The letters revealed more about Kofi's secret dealings, including names of people who were involved. One name stood out: Olumide, a notorious criminal known for his ruthless tactics. Jide looked worried. "Olumide is dangerous. If he's involved, this must be serious than we thought." Adewale agreed. "We need to be careful. Let's move to the next location and see what we find." The next stop was a small hidden alcove in a busy market square. Behind a stack of crates, they found a hidden door leading to a narrow passageway. Inside, they discovered a small room filled with more documents and a locked chest. Duro used his skills to pick the lock, revealing a stash of gold and a detailed ledger. Nia examined the ledger. "These are records of transactions, but they're in code. We'll need to decode these to understand what they mean." Adewale felt a growing sense of urgency. "We are getting closer, but we need to keep moving." The next location is a warehouse by the docks. As they approached the warehouse, they noticed it was guarded. They devised a plan to distract the guards while Adewale and Nia sneaked inside. Amina and Jide created a diversion, drawing the guards away from the entrance. Adewale and Nia slipped through a side door and quickly searched the warehouse. Inside, they found crates filled with contraband and more documents. Among them was a detailed map of the city with markings on specific locations. Adewale realized that these were the same locations they had been visiting. "These markings match the ones on our map," he said. "Kofi was tracking something important. We need to find out what." As they continued their search, they heard footsteps approaching. They hid behind a stack of crates as two men entered the warehouse, discussing their plans. Adewale recognized one of them as Olumide. "We need to find Kofi before he exposes us," Olumide said. "He knows too much, and if he talks, we are all finished." Nia's eyes widened. "Olumide is behind Kofi's disappearance. We need to follow him and find out where he's keeping Kofi." They carefully followed Olumide and his companion as they left the warehouse and headed towards the outskirts of the city. Their journey took them to an old, dilapidated building that looked like it had been abandoned for years. Adewale and Nia waited until Olumide and his companion entered the building before making their move. Duro, Amina, and Jide caught up with them, and together they planned their next steps. "We need to be smart about this," Adewale said. "We don't know how many men Olumide has inside. We need to get in and out quickly." They decided to create another distraction using Jide's skills to start a small fire outside the building. As Olumide's men rushed to put out the fire, Adewale, Nia, and Duro sneaked inside. They moved quickly through the dark hallways, searching for any sign of Kofi. Finally, they found a locked door at the end of the long corridor. Duro used his strength to break the lock and entered a small room. There, lying on a cot, was Kofi. He looked weak but alive. "Kofi!" Adewale exclaimed, rushing to his side. "We are here to rescue you." Kofi opened his eyes and managed a weak smile. "Adewale, you found me. Thank you." Nia quickly assessed the situation. "We need to get him out of here before Olumide's men return. Can you walk, Kofi?" Kofi nodded weakly. I think so. Let's go." They helped Kofi to his feet and made their way out of the building, avoiding Olumide's men. Once outside, they hurried back to the safety of the market, where they could tend to Kofi's injuries and plan their next move. As Kofi recovered, he began to review more about his secret life. He explained that he had been involved in a complex network of trade and alliances, some of which were legitimate, while others were not. He had made powerful enemies, including Olumide, who had kidnapped him to prevent him from exposing their illegal activities. Adewale listened intently. "Why didn't you tell me, Kofi? I could have helped you." Kofi sighed. "I wanted to protect you, Adewale. I didn't want you to get caught up in my own problems." Nia nodded in understanding. "We are in this together now, Kofi. We need to take down Olumide and his network to ensure your safety and the safety of the market." With their allies' help, Adewale and Nia began to devise a plan to expose Olumide and his criminal activities. They gathered evidence from the documents they had found and contacted the authorities, providing them with the information needed to take action. The final confrontation came when they lured Olumide into a trap. They arranged a fake meeting, making Olumide believe that Kofi had information he wanted to sell. When Olumide arrived, the authorities were waiting. A fierce fight ensued, but with the help of their friends, Adewale and Nia managed to subdue Olumide and his men. Olumide was arrested and his criminal network was dismantled. The markets breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that the threat had been removed. Kofi's reputation was restored and he vowed to live an honest life from that point forward. As the authorities took Olumide and his men into custody, the market began to return to its usual hustle and bustle. Kofi, still recovering from his ordeal, stood with Adewale and Nia, feeling a mix of relief and gratitude. "Thank you, Adewale." "Nia," Kofi said, his voice filled with emotion. "I couldn't have done this without you." Adewale smiled, patting Kofi on the back. "We are just glad you are safe, Kofi. But there's one thing I don't understand. Why did Olumide target you specifically?" Kofi took a deep breath, ready to reveal the final piece of the puzzle. "Olumide and I used to be business partners. We were involved in some risky ventures, and when I tried to leave that life behind, he saw it as a betrayal. He was afraid I would expose our dealings, so he kidnapped me to keep me quiet." Nia nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "You were trying to protect us all by keeping your secrets. But in the end, honesty was the best way to resolve this." As they spoke, a commotion arose from the market square. A group of merchants had gathered, and the atmosphere was charged with curiosity and anticipation. The merchants had heard about the events and were eager to hear the truth from Kofi himself. Kofi, with Adewale and Nia by his side, stepped forward to address the crowd. "My friends, I owe you an explanation," he began, his voice steady. "I was involved in some dealings that I'm not proud of. I thought I could protect you by keeping these secrets, but I see now that honesty and transparency are the only way forward." The crowd listened intently, their expressions a mix of shock and understanding. Kofi continued. "Olumide was my business partner, and when I tried to live that life, he saw it as a threat. He kidnapped me to keep me from exposing our secrets. But thanks to the bravery and determination of Adewale and Nia, I was rescued, and Olumide's criminal network has been dismantled." Adewale stepped forward. "Kofi has risked everything to ensure our safety. We must learn from this experience and work together to make our market a place of honesty and trust." The merchants nodded in agreement, appreciating the transparency and courage it took for Kofi to come forward. The market was a close-knit community, and they knew that working together was the best way to ensure their collective success. As the crowd dispersed, Kofi turned to Adewale and Nia. I know I have a lot to make up for, but I am determined to live an honest life from now on. Thank you for believing in me. As the dust settled and life returned to normal, Kofi, Adewale and Nia reflected on the journey they had undertaken. The market had become a symbol of resilience and integrity thanks to their efforts. The merchants worked together and the sense of unity was stronger than ever. Kofi stood in the center of the bustling market, watching as the people traded goods and shared stories. He felt a deep sense of gratitude for the support and trust of his friends and the community. His past mistakes had been forgiven, and he was committed to live a life of honesty and transparency. Adewale approached Kofi, a warm smile on his face. The market is thriving, Kofi. You've done a great job turning things around. Kofi nodded, his eyes filled with pride. We did it together, Adewale. I couldn't have done it without you and Nia. Thank you for standing by me. One evening, as Kofi, Adewale and Nia were closing up the market, a strange wind blew through the streets. The air grew cold, and an eerie silence fell over the market. Suddenly, a mysterious figure appeared, cloaked in shadows. The figure spoke in a deep, otherworldly voice. Kofi, your disappearance was not merely the work of man. A supernatural force has been at play, guiding your destiny. Kofi, Adewale, and Nia exchanged puzzled glances. Who are you? Kofi asked, his voice trembling. The figure stepped forward, revealing a face that seemed to shape and change with each moment. I am a guardian of the ancient spirits, sent to test your resolve and integrity. Your journey has been a trial, and you have proven your worth. Adewale frowned. What do you mean? Was all this part of some test? The guardian nodded. Yes. Kofi's disappearance, the challenges you faced, and the secrets you uncovered were all part of a greater plan to reveal the strength of your character and the unity of your community. Nia shivered, a sense of awe washing over her. So what's happened now? The guardian smiled, a mystical glow emanating from their form. You have passed the test. The spirits are pleased with your actions. The market will continue to thrive, and you will be blessed with prosperity and harmony. With that, the guardian vanished, leaving behind a sense of wonder and mystery. Kofi, Adewale, and Nia stood in stunned silence, the weight of their journey settling upon them. Kofi finally spoke, his voice filled with gratitude. We have been tested by forces beyond our understanding, and we have prevailed. Let us continue to honor the values that brought us here. Adewale and Nia nodded in agreement. Together, they embraced the strange and surreal conclusion to their journey, knowing that their bond and their community had been blessed by a power far greater than themselves. As the market of Lagos continued to prosper, the legend of Kofi's mysterious disappearance and the supernatural test became a story told for generations. It was a reminder that integrity, trust, and unity were the true foundations of prosperity, and that sometimes the greatest mysteries held the most profound truths.